What's up, guys? It's Dr. Jim. I am your CBD expert and your natural healthcare expert and your worldwide virtual health coach, and I want to welcome you to tonight's live. I am excited. Tonight's live is CBD oil and low thyroid. Who's excited to hear about CBD oil and low thyroid, right? Everybody. People want to know about it. I know you want to know about it. I get request after request. Doc, can you talk more about CBD oil and low thyroid? I know low thyroid is a big deal, so I'm excited that you're getting on. Thanks everybody, Gene. Thanks everybody for getting on. When you're getting on, if you wouldn't mind, down in the comments putting in where you're coming in from and whether you're watching it live or on the replay, because you know, I gotta know if you're watching it live and getting the full energy of Dr. Jim live, or you watching it on the replay. But either way, tonight is going to be awesome. All right. So the title for tonight is CBD oil and a low thyroid. The disclaimer for tonight is I am not your doctor tonight. You are not my patient tonight. And there's absolutely nothing about tonight's video that constitutes a doctor-patient relationship. So please don't change anything about your current medical treatment because you heard me talk about something cool in this video. Disclaimer number 2 is CBD oil is a natural supplement. It is not a drug. Therefore, it is not intended for the diagnosis, treatment, or cure of any specific condition, including anything that we might talk about tonight. All right? So if you're excited, thanks, Mom, for getting on. Love you. Tonight's topic is CBD oil and a low thyroid. Why is this important? Why does everybody want to know about it? Well, number 1, there's approximately 20 million people in the United States, not worldwide, 20 million people in the United States that have a problem with their thyroid. And here's something interesting. About 60% of that 20 million are completely unaware that their problem is connected to their thyroid. Can you believe that? Like, they're 60% of 20 million. If my son was here, he'd go, Dad, that's like 12 million people. Like, he would know, he'd be able to give it to me or like that. But basically, 60% of that 20 million people are not even completely aware that they have a thyroid problem. That's crazy, right? Well, there's approximately 3 million new diagnoses per year in the United States of thyroid problems. So it's a big deal. Now, what are some of the symptoms that, since people are unaware, we should talk about what are the symptoms of a low thyroid. Now, if you already have a low thyroid and you know it, put low thyroid in the comments because you already know all about these symptoms. But they're symptoms like crushing, extreme fatigue, weight gain, they're cold all the time, thinning hair, dry skin, sluggish digestion, low libido, constipation. Like, all of these things are connected to having a low thyroid. All right. And this is the thing I want you to understand, though. The low thyroid problems go far beyond just like being cold and being tired and not being able to lose weight. I need you to understand how important your thyroid is to your overall body function. Every cell in your body that has a nucleus in it, which is every cell in your body other than red blood cells. So every cell in your body has thyroid receptors on it. That's how important your thyroid is. So your thyroid hormones literally interact with every single cell in your body. They help control the metabolism of every single cell. Is that amazing? So when we talk about a low thyroid, I want you to understand that it's much, much, much more serious than a problem with losing weight or being tired. Okay? I mean, much more serious. Because if you have a low thyroid, it has an impact on your brain. All right? You can have things like your mental clarity and your memory can be upset. Something called brain fog, right? That's serious. It can increase your risk of heart attack because people that have low thyroid often have high cholesterol. You have an increased risk for gallstones. Low thyroid can have a serious impact on fertility and on miscarriages. That's a big deal, right? You can have increases in your blood pressure, as well as having a problem with your thyroid can cause depression. So when we talk about a low thyroid, I don't want people just to attach simply a weight problem to it, right? That's what we all think of, like, oh, I have a thyroid problem and that's why I gained all this weight. But like that's a huge problem, but there's a whole lot of other problems that can be much more significant and can be a lot worse, all right? So this is serious business. Now, how does it usually go? Well, it usually goes something like this. You start experiencing all these symptoms of low thyroid. Like you're horribly tired, your hair's coming out, you're gaining weight or you can't lose it. You're you're constipated, you just feel awful, your digestion's sluggish, you don't want to drag yourself out of bed in the morning or have any energy all day, you're always freezing, and you're like, man, something is wrong with me. And you go to the doctor and you lay out all of these symptoms, and the doctor goes, sounds like you have a low thyroid. And they run the test, the one test, the TSH test, and they run it and it comes back and he goes, yep, you have a high TSH. That means you have a low functioning thyroid. Here's your prescription for thyroid hormones. Start taking this, come back and see me in a couple months. So you're like, oh, thank goodness, right? And I finally know what my problem is. I have a low thyroid. And you go home and you start taking that medication. And you're taking it, and you go back in 3 months. They redo your blood work, and the doc comes in and goes, we got it. Awesome. You're better now. Your TSH is in the normal range. Everything's perfect. And that's when you look at your doctor and you're like, you've got to be kidding me, right? Because I still have all of the symptoms of a low thyroid. My hair's still coming out, or maybe some of them have gotten better, but I still can't lose weight. I'm still gaining weight. I'm still constipated. I'm still freezing all the time. My libido still stinks. Like all of these things, my cholesterol's still high. Like all of these things are still going on, all right? And that's where the problem lies, all right? Because what I want you to understand, and I just keep checking my notes because I want to make sure that I give you the very, very, very best information tonight. But that is because there's many, many steps, all right, from when thyroid hormones are produced and how they are transported and then ultimately how they get expressed in your body. A lot of steps. And with all of those steps, there's many places that can break down, all right? So there's roughly about 22 different types of thyroid dysfunction that can happen. Now, here's the issue. That's a lot of places it could go wrong. Traditional blood work is only going to tell us about one of those. What? Isn't that crazy? Like the traditional TSH test that you're going to get at the doctor is only going to tell you about one of those problems. So you're going to end up with, they're going to test your TSH. If it's too high, that means you have a low thyroid, right? That's it. Like that's the test you're going to get. And it doesn't test any of the other parts. And here's even the crazier part. The number one cause of a low thyroid in the United States, bar none. And this isn't me talking. This isn't natural healthcare gurus talking. This is literally straight out of the Mayo Clinic. The number one cause of a low thyroid in the United States, what they consider the number one cause, isn't even tested for the majority of the time. Isn't that crazy? Right? So therein there lies your problem, is that in traditional model, they're only testing for one of about 22 different ways your thyroid could be out of balance. And that's simply because if your TSH is high, you don't have enough thyroid hormones, we give you thyroid hormones, your TSH comes into range, we got it. But you still have all of those symptoms. So why could that happen? And how could CBD oil be beneficial in this situation? Well, the number one cause, I'm going to give you 3 reasons tonight, and there's more, but I'm going to give you three reasons of how I think CBD oil can have a positive impact in working with your low thyroid. All right? Number 1 has to do with the number one cause of a low thyroid in the United States, according to the Mayo Clinic, bar none. It's not even a problem with your thyroid. All right? Did you get that? It's not even a problem with your thyroid. It's actually an autoimmune condition that attacks your thyroid. All right? It's an autoimmune condition that attacks your thyroid, and it makes it so your thyroid can't make enough thyroid hormones. So so the way I want you to think about it is, if someone was, what's a good thing to, I needed an example like that and I didn't have a good one, but here you go. If someone kept hitting you in the leg with a bat, right? And man, you're getting bumps and bruises and now you can barely walk. That would be like saying that you have a leg problem. You don't have a leg problem. You have a guy hitting you in the leg with a bat problem, right? So the number one cause of a low thyroid is not really a thyroid problem. It's an autoimmune problem. And that autoimmune problem attacks and destroys your thyroid gland. You see where the difference is? And here's the problem. They almost never check for it, all right? And even if they do check for it, unfortunately, they don't have a lot for you, right? So here's what happens when that's going on, all right? So your pituitary gland pumps out TSH, which is thyroid stimulating hormone. It's supposed to tell your thyroid, hey, make more thyroid hormones. So your pituitary sends out TSH, tells your thyroid to make thyroid hormones. Your thyroid gland makes T4. Now, here's the problem. T4, not the active form of thyroid hormones. T4 has to travel down to your liver. In your liver, it gets converted into T3. Now, T3 is the active form of thyroid hormones. It's what does all the work. Now, T3 has to get in a taxi cab, and it's got to drive to your cells to get the work done. And then once the taxi cab lets it out of the cells, it then has to attach to a receptor site. It has to go in the front door of its job to do the work. Now, here's the problem. When you have this autoimmune condition called Hashimoto's, it creates a cloud of inflammation. This autoimmune condition is creating a cloud of inflammation all throughout your body, and it's basically blocking the front door of the work site. So you can have the right amount of TSH, making the right amount of T4 at your thyroid. T4 is going to your liver. It's getting converted into the right amount of T3. T3, there's just the right amount of taxi cabs to drive it to its job. And when it gets out at its job, there's police tape all over the door. It can't get in because this inflammation is blocking the receptor site. And here's the thing. Taking more thyroid hormones isn't going to fix that. Do you get what I'm saying? It's an autoimmune problem, and the inflammation from the autoimmunity is blocking the thyroid hormones from working. So guess what CBD oil does, which is awesome, all right? CBD oil has an amazing ability to help modulate and regulate the immune response. It helps balance the immune system. So in doing so, it can help reduce all these inflammatory cytokines that are blocking the receptor sites. So when we do that, if you have the right amount of T3 and the right amount of taxi cabs to get it there, when it gets out to do its job, it can go in the front door at work and do its job. And the reason it can do that is because CBD oil has reduced all these inflammatory products from this autoimmune condition. Does that make sense? If you're getting that, put I'm getting it in the comments, all right? I hope you understand how that works. But here's the second part of that, all right? We just said that the reason why you still feel crummy is because it's blocking your thyroid hormones from getting through. But guess what else that autoimmune condition's still doing? It's still attacking your thyroid gland. So what's happening is, if anyone who has a thyroid problem and they've noticed that their thyroid fluctuates, it goes up, it goes down, maybe the doctor has to creep. They up your thyroid medication, then they decrease it back down, and then they up it and they decrease it back down. Do you know why they have to do that? It's not because your thyroid starts working and then it stops working. It's because your immune system flares up and calms down. So there's either a bigger attack or less attack. Bigger attack, lesser attack. And your thyroid is fluctuating like that. So sometimes you might even have symptoms, almost feel like you have a hyperthyroid. Like I act like I got right now, right? Your heart starts beating really fast, you get kind of going like that. And then other times you're crashing and you're like, I don't understand what's going on. Well, it's because the immune system's flaring up and calming down. Not only that, is the longer that autoimmune condition is going on, it is continually destroying more and more of your thyroid. Do you get that? And not only this, is once you have an autoimmune condition and your body thinks it's okay to attack one place, guess what? It can attack anywhere else in your body. So it ends up going to the next step of maybe it attacks your pancreas and you develop type 1.5 diabetes, or maybe it starts attacking your joints, you start getting rheumatoid arthritis, or maybe it starts attacking your skin and you get psoriasis. So if you don't address the autoimmune component of your low thyroid, you will always have a problem with your thyroid, even if you're taking the right amount of thyroid hormones and your TSH is normal. So what CBD oil does to help with the number one cause of a low thyroid is it helps balance out the inflammatory process, and it helps mute some of that inflammatory response so that your immune system is calmed down and not attacking your body as much, and it's allowing some of those thyroid hormones to get through because it reduced the blockade. All right? I hope everybody got that, because that's super, super important, because it's the number one cause of a low thyroid, and it's just nobody's helping anybody with it except me. No, I mean a few people, but I'm one of them. So way number 2 that CBD oil can help with a low thyroid is there is a problem in that all those steps of thyroid production, transportation, and expression. There's steps along that whole process. One of them is called, you can have what's called an underconversion problem. All right? So let's go back. TSH from your pituitary gland goes to your thyroid gland, tells your thyroid gland to make T4. T4 is the inactive form of thyroid hormones. It's also, if you're taking thyroid hormones, guess what? They are T4. They're synthetic T4. Now, T4 then has to go to your liver and be converted into T3. That is the active form of thyroid hormones. Now, could you imagine if you had a normal TSH making a normal amount of T4, if you were not converting inactive thyroid hormones to active thyroid hormones, that you could experience low thyroid symptoms? Absolutely. That problem is called an underconversion. You are underconverting from T4 to T3. Why does it happen? Well, there is an enzyme called the 5-deiodinase enzyme that converts T4 to T3. Now, high cortisol levels, the stress hormone cortisol, the higher that it goes, it downregulates this 5-deiodinase enzyme, and you underconvert T4 to T3. So guess what? You can have so if you have low T3, guess what you don't have enough of? Enough active thyroid hormones to have a thyroid impact. All right? Now, if you also have that and you have the autoimmune condition, do you think you're doubly in trouble? Yeah, you are. So here's the thing. This underconversion problem is very common because, let's face it, there's a lot of stress problems, a lot of high cortisol problems out there. So that's a big deal. That's technically not a thyroid problem. You could have, your thyroid test could never be a problem. And you could be expressing lots of low thyroid symptoms because you're underconverting. All right? So, how does CBD oil help with that? Well, we said, what's downregulating that enzyme that makes that conversion happen? High cortisol levels. Guess what CBD oil can do? It's pretty awesome. CBD oil helps reduce the stress hormone cortisol. Isn't that awesome? I think we could all use a reduction in our stress hormone cortisol, but if it's interfering with the conversion of our thyroid hormones, and we can actually help mute and reduce some of that stress hormone called cortisol, then that's going to help improve our conversion of T4 to T3. We're going to have more active T3 hormones in the body, and that, my friends, will be awesome. Right? Are you getting it? Is it exciting? I hope you're getting. I hope you're excited. So, number 1 has to do with the impact it will have on the autoimmune condition, because that's a big deal, the inflammation and the autoimmune attack. Number 2 is this underconversion problem and the ability to downregulate to kind of mute the cortisol response, which is downregulating the 5-deiodinase enzyme that goes from T4 to T3. All right? So that is a big deal. Now, third part. This is a big deal. I'll answer all our questions later. So the last one is reverse T3. Now, some people may have heard of this. A lot of you may not have. But once again, pituitary gland tells your thyroid gland to create. So TSH tells your thyroid gland to make T4. Your thyroid gland makes the inactive form of thyroid hormones called T4. That goes down to your liver and gets converted into the active form of T3. But some of it is also converted into something called reverse T3. Now, the problem here is reverse T3 is an inactive form of T3, and what it can do is it can interfere with how T3 works, because reverse T3 can go to the receptors and it will compete with active T3 for those receptor sites. All right? Are you getting what I'm saying there? So here's the deal. What some people have is what we call high reverse T3. So the conversion is happening, but they're making way too much reverse T3 and not enough active T3. So here's what I want you to understand about that, why it's so important. The main causes of high reverse T3 are high inflammation, high cortisol, and anemia. Now, I have read nothing in the way that CBD oil will help with anemia. So if you have an anemia problem, you got to fix it, whether it's a B12 anemia, iron deficiency anemia, whatever it is, that's a different route you have to work on. But if it's caused from chronic inflammation, guess what? CBD oil, probably one of the things it's best known for is for its response and its impact on inflammation. It attaches the CB2 receptors and it helps modulate that immune response, reduces inflammation. So if you can reduce inflammation, you're going to make less reverse T3, more active T3, have more good T3 floating around. You're more likely to have a positive thyroid impact. All right? And we already just said, so high inflammation, high cortisol, it helps reduce both of those. So if we make less reverse T3, we can make more regular T3. Regular T3 is going to have an impact at the cells. Now, what about this? If you have an autoimmune, let's say you have, number one, you have an autoimmune condition called Hashimoto's that's attacking your thyroid, right? Now, what does that do? That creates tons of inflammation throughout your whole body. So now, not only is it attacking your thyroid, destroying it over time, making your thyroid go up and down like this, but all of those inflammatory cytokines are interfering with how your thyroid hormones can attach to the receptors. But now we also know we have this huge problem in that the reverse T3, because of all this inflammation, right? All this inflammation is driving reverse T3 to go high. So we're not making as much active T3. And then because of all the inflammation and the autoimmune condition, we have our cortisol level, our stress hormones are really high. So cortisol's up. So now we're down regulating this 5-deiodinase enzyme. So we're not converting our T4 to our T3 well anyway. And guess what? In that entire situation, your blood work, the TSH and the T4 can look 100% normal. My question would be, do you feel normal? Yeah, no way, right? And so CBD oil can help in all three of these. Autoimmunity, it's going to help. It helps balance the two sides of the immune system. It helps reduce inflammatory cytokines so the thyroid hormones can get through. It helps reduce the cortisol levels so we can convert from T4 to T3, and it helps reduce chronic inflammation, which is causing our body to make more reverse T3 and less regular T3. So that is the three ways that I think CBD oil can help you with a low thyroid. This is really important because I get this question all the time, because people miss sometimes the entire point of this talk. I am not saying that CBD oil will help your body make more thyroid hormones, all right? So if you need thyroid hormones, I'm not saying that CBD oil is going to magically make your body start making more thyroid hormones. That's not what I'm saying at all. You may need to take thyroid hormones. I can't tell you that. But what I can tell you is there's about 21 other ways that your thyroid may not be expressing itself at 100%, and CBD oil has a big impact in the number one cause of a low thyroid. Now, you might need to take thyroid hormones, and if you still have all these problems, then you want to take CBD oil, right? If you have an underconversion problem, you want to take CBD oil. If you have a reverse T3 problem, you want to take CBD oil. So these are all things, but I'm not telling you that CBD oil magically helps you make more thyroid hormones. So please, nobody go out there and say, if you take CBD oil, you're going to be able to get off your thyroid medication. You're not going to need it anymore. Because I'm going to tell you, and this is really serious to me. I just heard this before I got this message before this video, and it's been troubling me, and I wasn't sure if I was going to mention it, but I am. I got a message from somebody that says, all you guys talking about CBD oil are a bunch of liars because you guys told me, not me, but someone told me that if I take full spectrum CBD oil that I will not fail a drug test. 3 months of taking it, 1 full dropper at night, I just failed my drug test. All right? So if anyone out there is telling anybody that you won't fail a drug test if you take full spectrum CBD oil, then please don't do it, because you're going to cost people your jobs, their jobs, everything. All right? The only way to take CBD oil and it not show up on a drug test is to take the 100% THC-free version. Period. If you tell anybody any different, that's on you. You have to live with yourself if you do that, all right? But don't ever, please don't tell anybody that they can take full spectrum and that they'll have no problem passing a drug test, all right? Please don't do it, all right? Because it's not true. Even though it's so small of an amount, over months, it can show up. And if it shows up and someone loses their job, that's on you. All right? Don't let that be on you, please. All right? So, and that's another thing that it brings me to. That's why the CBD oil that you get is so important. All right? Because guess what? There's a bunch of CBD oils out there that might be saying they're THC free and they're not, because they're garbage. All right? You need a CBD oil that's awesome, that's third-party tested, that every batch is third-party tested, the results are on the website, that you know everything about it. You want a CBD oil that you know what they say is in it is actually in it, and what's not supposed to be in it is not in it. All right? That there's no THC, there's no microbes, there's no solvents, all that stuff. All right? So if you want to know the CBD oil that I recommend, because it checks all those boxes, then what I want you to do, put info in the comments, and I will send you a link to order the CBD oil that I recommend, that checks all those boxes. Now, if someone else sent you this video, by all means get back with them, but make sure that it's a CBD oil that checks all those boxes, all right? But if you want to order from me, put info in the comments, and I will send you a link to order the CBD oil that I recommend, all right? All right, so that's an important thing. All right, number 2, this CBD oil world, man, it's taken off. We are just at the cusp, and if you listen to my videos, I can't be more excited about where it's going. It's right now about it's a $600 million, $700 million industry. It's going to $22 billion. So if you'd like to be a part of that and be on my team, if you'd like to partner with me and be on my team, put info in the comments, and in there will be a link for you to be able to check on how you can be a part of my team, how you and I can work together in this CBD oil business, and I'll make videos with you just like this and help promote you selling CBD oil. If you want to be a part of that, if you want to be on my team, put info in the comments. However, if somebody else sent you this video, by all means, get back with them. I'm sure they want you on their team. All right? Last, this is important. And I have shaken my notes up so many places I don't even know where they all are. But here's the deal. If you like what we talk about today, because listen, if you suffer from a low thyroid, if you have an autoimmune condition, if you've struggled with obesity, if you have all the symptoms of a low thyroid and they keep telling you that there's nothing wrong with you, maybe you're just depressed, you should get on this depression medication because there's nothing wrong with you, maybe it's all in your head, maybe then they start adding, well, you probably have fibromyalgia and you have all these other things, and you're like, no, listen, like I have all these symptoms. The fact that you can't help me with them doesn't negate the fact that I still feel this way, right? So if you feel like that and nobody's helping you and nobody's getting you where you want to go, all right, then what I want you to do is tomorrow night, Tuesday night, I am doing a free webinar. And on that webinar, I'm going to discuss a brand new test. You've heard me probably mention it before if you've been on here before, but a brand new test that will literally tell us at the cellular level where your breakdowns are, and for each individual person, as precise to you as your fingerprint, and exactly what we need to do to fix it. All right? And we're talking this is the exact same test that the doctors that I'm collaborating with, this test and this program, where they have treated over 40,000 people with low thyroid and autoimmune and chronic health conditions with over an 85% success rate. All right? And what that means is a significant reduction or a complete resolution of their symptoms. So if you have a thyroid problem and you don't know where to turn and you need help, you need someone to help you get better. If you want to get better, if you want to finally lose that weight, get your energy back, get warm again, get your sex drive back, get your hormones balanced, get your thyroid and lose weight, do all the things that you really, really want, then this is what I want you to do, all right? I want you to put info in the comments and register for the webinar. Because if you liked what we talked about today, you're going to love the webinar. It's awesome. I go real in depth about the test and what it tests and all the ways that it can test. And by knowing all of that information exactly, we know exactly how to help fix your problem, what to eat, what supplements your body needs. And when we put that together, your body can heal naturally. And isn't that what we all want? We'd like to, why are we all so interested in CBD oil? Put info in the comments if you want to register for the webinar. But why do you think we're all interested in CBD oil? Because it's a natural supplement. It's a plant that's been here forever, and it has an impact in so many different places, right? So what I want you to do is put info in the comments. Yes. So I want you to put info in the comments, and I want you to register for the webinar, and I want you to be there. If you absolutely can't be on the webinar live, still register for it, because there's going to be a replay, and that replay is going to be as good as the live, just like these. All right. So put info in the comments. I want you to be on that webinar. Because I think CBD oil is awesome, and I think it has an impact across so many different places. But listen, I'm willing to bet there's people on this webinar right now that have low thyroid and obesity problems and all kinds of stuff, and you're taking CBD oil right now, and you're like, man, this feels better, this is better, this is better, but you still know that there's a level of health that you're not at yet. And it's because there's a few things you don't know. There's a couple things that are off and you don't know what they are. If you want to know what they are, that's what this test will tell you, and that's exactly how we're going to fix it. All right? So I really want you on the webinar. Man, the results that we're seeing is literally changing people's lives. It's ridiculous. I never thought it was going to be this good. I'll be honest with you. I just thought it was going to be awesome. It's better than awesome. It's better than I ever thought it would be. People are literally healing. Their organs are regenerating and healing, and I can't believe it, and it's silly good. So please put info in the comments for the webinar. All right, I love all of you. Thank you for getting on tonight. Thank you. See, I got too serious for a second. So, just like I tell my son every day before he goes to school, be your very best today. #never quit. And I believe that God wants the very, very best for you. And the day you believe that, change your life forever. Have an awesome, awesome night.